The air is cool and still, and the sky has settled into its indigo hush. Somewhere beyond the horizon, the last traces of sunlight have faded into a sleepy glow, giving way to the quiet rhythm of evening. A soft breeze moves across worn stone streets, brushing against clay walls and woven linen awnings, carrying with it the faint, sweet scent of pressed flowers and dust. The world has begun to exhale. A single oil lamp flickers in a nearby alcove, its flame swaying gently, casting golden patterns on the wall behind it. Somewhere, a reed flute hums a low, slow tune, almost like a lullaby. In this moment, there is no hurry. The city rests under a blanket of quiet stars, and all things feel softened by time. Your breath slows, and your thoughts float like feathers on still water. Tonight, your mind begins to drift far away from the edges of this day, carried backward, gently, like a leaf on a gentle stream. Let the waters of thought become quieter, slower, cooler, as you slip further from the noise of now and into the hush of then. You are being pulled softly toward a distant shore, a place where pages whispered in ancient tongues and light fell in golden lines through high, open windows. Before you, the edges of a city begin to shimmer into view. The waves of the Mediterranean lap against its stones, soft and unhurried. Somewhere within this city, past the markets and the gardens, past the voices that fade with the day, lies a building unlike any other. A place built not of stone alone, but of wonder, a house of memory, a place meant to hold everything the world once knew. The Library of Alexandria. Let your breath move like the sea, slow and quiet. Let your eyelids grow heavier as the light fades even more. You are walking now, gently, calmly, through the dusk of a long-forgotten time. With each step, the world becomes softer, older, and quieter, until all that remains is the gentle rustle of parchment, the warm scent of papyrus, and the hum of ancient dreams. You are safe here, and there is nothing to do but drift, and listen, and rest. The sea lies quiet beneath the night sky, its waves slow and heavy with darkness. They press gently against the edge of a vast land, where the wind carries the scent of brine and the songs of fishermen returning home. In the distance, faint voices speak in a tongue soft and ancient, worn smooth by time. Clay pots click gently against stone. Oil lamps glow like fallen stars along winding streets. This is Alexandria, once the greatest city in the world. The city breathes slowly. Columns rise from the earth like frozen music, pale in the silver wash of moonlight. Marble glimmers, fountains sleep, palms sway in the stillness, their fronds whispering secrets to one another above the slumbering rooftops. Alexandria does not rush, it does not shout, it moves with the same slow rhythm as the tides, pulling one moment into the next with no sharp edge, no jarring turn. Here, the past and present fold into one another. The city hums with memory. Streets curve toward the sea, as if drawn back to the water that once brought ships heavy with scrolls, scholars, and dreams. There are no carts rolling now, no voices calling out, only the soft hush of distant sandals on stone and the breath of wind across the harbors. And at the city's heart, behind gardens laced with jasmine and shaded by olive trees, rises a place of stillness. No banners mark it, no fires blaze in its towers, but it holds more than any treasure chamber or temple. Within its walls, thoughts sleep, waiting to be remembered. Papyrus rests in neat bundles, scrolls sleep in cubbies carved from cedar, and ink dreams inside bottles dark with age. This is the library, not a library in the way you might imagine one. There are no long rows of books, no whispering librarians with keys. Instead, there is warmth. There is air thick with spice and parchment. There is the hush of minds at work, always quietly, always gently, among knowledge as delicate and ancient as dried petals. Outside, life unfolds in circles. Bakers begin before dawn, kneading in the soft hush before the light breaks. Merchants move under awnings, their hands stained with saffron and wine. Children trace patterns in the dust with small fingers. Time here is not a straight line. It loops and lingers, and in this gentle rhythm, the library stands like a deep breath, held still in the chest of the city. The people believe in the power of words. They believe that each scroll contains a thread of the world's soul, and that gathering them is a kind of prayer. Inside the library, they whisper as they work, not from fear, but from reverence, as if raising their voice might disturb the thoughts sleeping inside the scrolls. Even the footsteps are softened by the wide stone floors, worn smooth over years and years. Light comes not from torches, but from slanted windows placed high above, letting in beams of honey-colored sun during the day and ribbons of moonlight at night. Dust floats in these beams, dancing like ash, slow and weightless. The air smells of cedar, smoke, and time. Shelves rise around the walls in curves, not angles. Every surface has been shaped with care. Outside the library, across the city, the stars hang low and quiet. The lighthouse, tall and still, casts its glow far out across the sea. It turns slowly, like a watchful eye, reminding sailors and scholars alike that Alexandria never truly sleeps. Even in the stillest hours, someone somewhere is unrolling a scroll, tracing faded ink with their fingertip, and thinking. And yet, there is no urgency. The city allows time to pass gently. Candles flicker, scrolls are copied, minds drift from one thought to another like leaves on slow-moving water. Even the birds here do not startle or squawk. They circle gently overhead or nest among the marble carvings without fear. Alexandria was born from many worlds. Egyptian temples lean beside Greek colonnades. Persian spices drift beside Roman garlands. Every voice is welcome here, and every thought has a place. There is no single truth, only a gathering of truths, each folded gently into the next like layers of linen cloth. Somewhere deep within the library, a scribe sits beside a shallow bowl of ink, watching it reflect the moon. His brush rests against the page, unmoving. He is not writing yet. He is waiting, listening to the quiet, feeling the pulse of the night. Around him, shelves rise in silent rings, holding the thoughts of thousands who came before. The city breathes, the sea sighs, and the library listens. In the hush of early light, when the stars have begun to dim and the sky turns the color of faded parchment, a young man rises from a woven mat, his limbs slow and gentle in their waking. His name is Callian, though few say it aloud. Most know him simply by his presence. Quiet and constant, like the ticking of water in a stone basin, he stretches beneath the hanging cloth that shields his small room from the breeze. Blinking slowly as the morning air curls around him, soft and cool and filled with the scent of crushed herbs. His dwelling is humble, tucked behind a fig tree that leans over the tiled roof like an old companion. A clay jar of water waits near the door, and he pours it into a shallow dish, letting his fingers trail through it before pressing both hands gently to his face. There is no hurry. The day does not demand itself here. It unfolds like a scroll unrolling, smooth and deliberate. Callian dresses in linen, the fabric soft with years of washing. The threads fall loosely over his frame. Whispering with each movement, he lights a small lamp and watches the flames sway, its glow dancing against the curved walls. In silence, he gathers the tools of his work, a narrow brush, a bone-handled knife for shaping parchment, a roll of fresh papyrus tied with string, and a wax tablet to hold fleeting notes. He tucks them into a cloth pouch, then steps into his sandals and into the world. The path from his home to the library winds through waking streets. Potters stir clay in quiet courtyards. A boy runs past with a basket of bread still warm from the fire. The scent of date syrup rises from a nearby stall, mingling with the dry, earthy smell of sand. Callian walks slowly, his sandals brushing against the stone, his mind already beginning to settle into the quiet rhythm he knows so well. By the time he reaches the wide, shaded entrance of the library, the sun has begun its gentle climb. Light slants across the colonnade, warming the marble floor in long, sleepy patterns. He passes through the entrance without a word. No guards stop him. No one needs to. His presence is as familiar here as the columns themselves. Inside, the light shifts. It grows softer, filtered through high slits in the walls and through curtains made of woven reeds. The air holds a deep, settled stillness, the kind that comes not from silence but from centuries of listening. Dust hangs suspended in the golden shafts of light, catching on Callian's hair as he passes beneath. His footsteps are nearly soundless, muffled by the same stone that has known so many before him. He begins his day in the copyist's alcove, a small corner of the library that faces a quiet courtyard. A fig tree grows there too, mirroring the one near his home, its leaves trembling gently in the breeze. He unrolls a scroll with slow care, the parchment cool beneath his fingers. The text is in a foreign script, its curves unfamiliar, its spaces wide. He does not need to understand every word. His task is not to know, but to preserve. The brush moves through ink like a boat across calm water. Each stroke is deliberate, shaped by habit and breath. Callian copies slowly, his wrist resting lightly on the wooden board beneath the scroll. Sometimes he pauses to clean the tip of the brush, or to blow gently across a wet line so it dries evenly. The world outside could be changing, shouting, crumbling, but in this room, there is only the slow unfolding of thought into word, of word into ink, of ink into memory. As the hours drift by, others pass in the distance. Some nod quietly to Callian, others do not see him at all. A philosopher murmurs to himself as he walks, scroll in hand, eyes distant. A young girl arranges a set of tablets by color and texture, matching them as if solving a puzzle. An older man gently blows dust from a sealed case, revealing the faded seal of a land long forgotten. Callian does not speak. He listens to the hush. He feels the breath of wind through the archway behind him, cooling the back of his neck. He hears the creak of the wooden shelves expanding in the warmth, the sound of a scroll being opened 3 rows away, the quiet sigh of someone finishing a thought. These are the rhythms that guide his day. At midday, he takes a simple meal beneath the fig tree, bread softened with oil, olives, a strip of dried fish. He eats slowly, chewing with quiet purpose, watching the shadows shift across the stones. A bird hops near his feet and pecks at a crumb. He does not move. The world around him does not press in. It simply waits. When he returns to his seat, the scroll is exactly where he left it. The ink has dried. The brush is still damp. He begins again, word by word, in the same soft pace. The library has no need for haste. Knowledge is not a flame to be caught. It is an ember, glowing quietly, passed from hand to hand without ever burning out. As the afternoon sun begins to lower itself, casting longer and gentler light into the corridors, Callian gathers his tools once more. He ties the scroll with string and places it in a wooden case. The brush is cleaned and wrapped. The pouch is folded close. He does not rush. The day ends as it began, in stillness. When he steps back into the street, the light is golden. Shadows stretch long across the stones. The city hums low and peaceful, as if whispering to itself. He walks home the way he came, slowly, breathing in the scent of night flowers beginning to bloom, letting the rhythm of his thoughts settle once more into quiet. He has not spoken all day, but he has said everything he needed to say. Callian walks the same path each evening, though it feels different each time. The light changes, the breeze shifts, the shadows stretch in new directions, and yet, the world remains soft and familiar. The city does not ask for much. It gives more than it takes. As he moves past sleeping gardens and shaded courtyards, he feels the weight of the day lift slowly from his shoulders, like a cloak being drawn back by invisible hands. Tonight, as the sun slips behind the rooftops and the birds call out in slow, spiraling notes, Callian carries a scroll that has not yet been read. It was found tucked behind a pile of older manuscripts, brittle and stained with time. No one knows where it came from. The script is unknown, the material thicker than usual, the ink still dark. His task is not to copy it. Not yet. Tonight, he will carry it to a man who has seen many such mysteries before. A man who lives just beyond the edge of the city, where the sea can be heard even in the quietest hours. Callian walks with care. The scroll is wrapped in cloth and cradled against his chest. The streets have thinned now. Candles glow behind shutters. The scent of roasted lentils drifts from a nearby home. A dog lies sleeping near the steps of a small shrine, its breath steady, ears flicking gently. Callian does not disturb it. He moves like the tide, slow, quiet, certain. The path out of the city bends toward the east, where the stones give way to sand and the wind carries salt from the sea. The houses grow farther apart, their shapes rounded by time and breeze. Soon, he hears the hush of waves beyond a row of tall reeds, their leaves clattering softly. A single lantern glows ahead, marking the doorway of the one who waits. The man is older than most. His hair the color of parchment. His eyes still clear. He sits by a low table, ink stains darkening his fingertips. A shallow bowl of water reflecting the lantern's light. When Callian arrives, there are no greetings, only a nod, a gesture. The door swings open without sound. Inside, the walls are lined with tablets, none arranged in order. Each bears a mark, a name, a moment preserved. The air smells of salt and wood smoke, of ink and oil and time. Callian removes the cloth slowly, his fingers brushing the scroll as if it were alive. He sets it down upon the table and steps back, letting the older man lean forward. No words are exchanged. The silence is their language, filled with meaning. The man studies the scroll without touching it. He leans close, closes one eye, then the other. His breath moves evenly, in and out, as if reading without reading. A small sound escapes his lips, not surprise, not concern, only a hum, like the one bees make in the early warmth of spring. He opens a drawer, removes a small glass disc, and holds it gently over the script. The letters do not move, yet something within them seems to shift, as if they remember being read long ago. The man leans back, closes his eyes, and folds his hands together. When he opens them again, he gestures toward a cushion across from him. Callian sits. They study the scroll together, their breathing matched, the silence between them filled with the rustle of the wind outside. The older man murmurs a phrase, low and even. It does not belong to any language Callian knows, yet it feels familiar, like the rhythm of waves or the echo of footsteps in a long corridor. The scroll does not reveal itself. Not yet, but it has begun to stir. After a time, the man closes the cloth again and ties it with a loop of twine. He hands it back, gently, like returning something sacred. Callian bows his head. He does not ask questions. He does not need to. Some knowledge unfolds not in answers but in time, in repetition, in silence. He tucks the scroll beneath his arm and rises, stepping once more into the night. The stars are brighter now. The path glows faintly in their light. The sea hums beyond the reeds, the same song it has sung for centuries, unchanging, eternal. Callian walks with a deeper stillness now. He does not feel the weight of the scroll, only its presence, like the memory of a voice long forgotten. He passes through the city's edge without notice. A torch flickers in a holder near the wall, casting a halo of gold against the stone. Moths circle it lazily. Somewhere nearby, water drips from a spout into a basin, slow and steady, like a clock that does not mark hours, only the passage of breath. As he returns to his small room, the fig tree rustles softly in welcome. He enters, unwraps the scroll, and sets it gently beside his pouch. It will wait for morning. Now, only rest remains. The night is thick and gentle. The city exhales. Somewhere across the stones, the library sleeps, its shelves curling inward like the arms of a resting mind. The room is wrapped in quiet. Outside, the fig leaves stir with the soft wind, casting slow-moving shadows along the wall. Callian lights a single oil lamp, its flame rising like a breath. Steady and small, he moves with gentle care, removing the scroll from his pouch and laying it once more on the low table by his mat. He does not open it tonight. It rests in its cloth wrapping, untouched, a presence rather than a task. There is no urgency, no need for answers, only the slow sinking of the day into night. He pours a small bowl of water and places it beside the lamp, the surface trembling faintly in the shifting light. A thin sliver of moon floats above the rooftops, pale and distant, caught in a cradle of clouds. The breeze brings with it the scent of warm stone, of earth cooling after the sun has gone. The city makes no sound. All its rhythms have stilled, folded gently inward, like hands at rest. Callian kneels beside the table and brushes away a few stray seeds scattered by the wind. He smooths the cloth over the scroll, his fingers quiet, his breath even. He listens, not for voices or footsteps, but for the space between things, the hush between the breeze and the flame, the silence between one heartbeat and the next. That is where the library speaks. That is where sleep begins. He reclines slowly, placing a folded cloth beneath his head, his body relaxing by degrees into the soft mat. His eyes remain open for a while, not in resistance but in quiet reflection. The lamp flickers gently, the shadows lengthen. He watches the patterns of light move across the ceiling, slow and uncertain, as if unsure where to settle. The scroll waits. His breathing deepens. His hands grow still. He closes his eyes, not to end the day, but to sink into it more deeply. Outside, the fig tree rustles again, a sound like whispers passing through silk. Somewhere nearby, a fountain trickles, the water moving in its own patient rhythm. Never hurried, never still. The room cools slightly. The warmth of the day has fully faded, leaving behind only the memory of sun on stone and the smell of sun-dried linen. The night has drawn close now, wrapping its quiet arms around the rooftops and alleyways, softening the edges of things, blurring the corners of thought. Callion's breath becomes quieter, drawn into the rhythm of sleep. But even as his body softens into stillness, his mind continues to drift, not in sharp lines but in soft curves, like ink flowing across worn parchment. He is not dreaming yet. He is floating, resting on the edge of thought, carried gently by the same silence that cradles the city. The library is not far. Its walls may be distant in space, but its presence lingers in every sleeping scroll, in every breath drawn in stillness. Even now, within its quiet halls, a single lamp may still glow, casting a warm circle on a table where a scholar sleeps beside his notes. A brush fallen from slack fingers. Time is not strict here. The hours melt together, smooth and slow. The day folds into the night with no resistance, no announcement, just the soft dimming of light, the deepening of quiet, the steady lengthening of shadows. Callion turns slightly in his sleep, the cloth blanket drawn up around his shoulders. His face is peaceful, his hands are open. Outside, the stars glimmer softly, scattered across the sky like fragments of broken scrolls, each holding a single word of an endless story. The city rests, the library breathes, the night deepens, sleep gathers at the edges of the room, soft and weightless. The oil lamp flickers one final time, then stills. Its flame draws smaller, smaller, until it is nothing at all. In its place is only the dark, not heavy or cold, but warm and velvety, like the inside of a quiet thought. Callion breathes slowly beneath his blanket. His chest rises and falls in rhythm with the night. His dreams do not arrive all at once. They come like the tide, gentle and slow, brushing lightly against the shore of his thoughts before retreating, only to return again, a little deeper each time. The scroll remains beside him, untouched. Its secrets rest, still folded and silent, waiting for a time that does not need to be named. Beyond the window, the fig leaves continue to stir, their movement no louder than breath. Above them, the stars blink in their high silence. Some flicker, some fade, but all remain. In their light, the rooftops become soft shapes, the city a quiet nest, tucked safely beneath the slow turning of the heavens. And deeper still, past the narrow lanes and sleeping doorways, the library waits. It does not sleep, not exactly. It rests. The shelves do not creak, the scrolls do not sigh, but there is a presence, a stillness that listens, not as a person listens, but as the earth listens when the wind moves gently across it. No questions, no judgment, only the openness of space and silence. A small breeze wanders through the corridors, stirring a loose thread of parchment, brushing against the wall like a fingertip. Light filters through an opening in the roof, pale and thin. Dust dances through it in slow, weightless turns. Somewhere in the distance, a page lies half unrolled, the ink on it faded to the softness of smoke. In the dream, Callion walks these corridors again. He does not open any scrolls. He does not need to. The shelves curve around him, not as barriers but as waves, rising and falling like the sea. He walks not to arrive, but to move. Each step carries him deeper into the hush, each breath slower than the last. The world narrows gently, not in fear but in comfort. The vastness becomes intimate, the unknown becomes familiar. The wind passes through a high window. It does not stir his clothes. It does not disturb the order of things. It is simply there, like a thought remembered from long ago. He feels it brush past his temple, soft and cool. He closes his eyes, but the dream continues. It does not need his sight. only his stillness. The corridors grow softer. The walls become less like walls and more like mist. The shelves blur at the edges, then fade. There are no scrolls now, only the sound of breath, the pulse of wind, the hum of something ancient and vast, folding itself slowly into silence. Callian no longer walks, he floats, he drifts. The world has grown rounder, quieter, deeper. There are no boundaries here, no time, no questions, only the soft repetition of breath, the warm rhythm of the sea far below, and the memory of words that do not need to be spoken. The fig tree outside his window rustles one last time, then stills. The city sleeps, the library sleeps, and now, so do you.